Hello and good morning. It is morning here where I am. I'm Sandra Pollock and I am sharing with you from Open Mind Coaching. Today is Friday and every Friday I get together and hopefully you get together, you join me as well. We get together here and I share on some of my reflections from the past week around gratitude. And this session every Friday is Stop and Be Grateful. And that's what I do. I stop, reflect, and give thanks for the week that I have had, no matter what type of week it has been. And for those of you who join me every week, I just want to say thank you so much. I do appreciate both you taking the time to share with me, and I also appreciate your contribution. So many of you, you share some comments as well. So hi Sue, great to have you on board. Hi James, great to have you join me here as well. So this week I am talking about gratitude, challenge and change. So it wouldn't be a surprise for me to tell you that this week has been particularly challenging. And those of you who are connected with me on my profile will know that this week our 16-year-old rough collie, Chrissy, was on her last journey this week, and that time has been particularly challenging. For some who are not dog lovers, you may not understand the emotional attachment that we dog lovers can have to our pets, and they become a part of the family. We plan around them, we take them into consideration, whether it is how long are we going to be away from home working or going on holiday. Can we take them? If we can't take them, who's going to look after them? And they become a part of our life. I mean, Chrissy for us has almost been like another child. So hi Deborah, lovely to have you join me. So this week has been challenging, as you know, she was old. I mean, 16 for a rough collie is pretty good. So we're proud of her from that point of view. But even though we prepare for some of the changes that happen in our life, and we knew 2 years ago we were thinking that we would come to this day, so what would we do about it? So we have another dog, not a replacement, can never ever be a replacement. And when we lose someone, no one else, or we lose something, nothing else, and no one else can replace the spot in our lives that thing, whether it's an animal or whether it's a person that person has held. But because I've loved dogs and always had dogs quite a huge part of my life, I wanted to make sure that we had another one. So we did plan, and we have Merlot, who is who is quite an exciting character all on his own. But although you know that change is going to happen, when it happens, it's still difficult. Morning, Nirmala. Thank you for joining me. So this week has been challenging. But what I like to do, and sometimes I admit it's really, really hard to do this, even when we're going through a challenging situation. For myself, I like to still ask that question. What is it that I can possibly learn through this situation? Yes, I'm in pain. Yes, I'm hurting. Or yes, the situation is difficult. But is there anything at all that I can learn? And sometimes we are just too sore to ask that question. But I still like to try. So in doing that, I would say that I have learned an awful lot this week about myself. And, some of the things are simple things, but to be reconnected with them is sometimes pretty awesome. So one of the things that I learned was that when she did pass away, to allow myself to feel. Sometimes we want to avoid all the difficulty. We want to not go through the difficult experiences, and we certainly hate to feel the emotion. I know hate is a pretty strong word, but a lot of times we really don't want to go through that emotion because we know how unpleasant it is going to feel for us, and we know the pain. But one of the things that I think that I've learnt again is how to allow those emotions to well up, allow them to go through us, allow ourselves to experience that. Because for me, in doing that, it helped me to appreciate, not that I didn't appreciate the experience of having her in our lives at all, but connect with that again. It allowed me to remember that I am not always Superwoman. And those people who know me know that I go at 200 miles an hour all the time. So stopping to allow my emotions is something I have to consciously do, because it's very easy to say, okay, finish with that, move on to the next as quickly as possible, but not to allow ourselves to learn and to connect. And when we allow ourselves to connect with our emotions, then when other people are going through difficulties, we can understand where they are. We can empathize with them. We can be there for them in a real and genuine way. Now, both our family over the last couple of years have gone through quite a bit of loss. Some of you know that just over a year ago, I lost my mother, and we lost my father-in-law as well. So it's not that we haven't been through loss recently, but sometimes, even when you've gone through a difficult thing recently, you want to shut off again. You want to shut down and you don't want to feel. So it is a challenge to allow yourself to feel, because that allows you to be human. But I think it also allows you to recognize, honor, and respect the individual that you are grieving, that you have lost. And whether it's an animal or whether it's a person, if we can stop and allow ourselves to feel those emotions, I think that gives rise to the gratitude. It should. It does for me, because I think, well, if I didn't love so deeply, if I didn't have that experience, if I didn't have this person or this thing as a dog in my life, I would not be as rich as I am, emotionally, experientially, and as a person. So I think I learned to just sit, and when people are going through the emotion, instead of wanting to rush out of it because we don't like the unpleasantness, Chris says, yeah, love hurts. You're absolutely right. And really, we only hurt over those things that mean something to us. So to honor that experience, to honor the gift of whether it's a person or an animal or a thing in our lives, I think we should allow ourselves to feel. And how do we allow ourselves to feel? Instead of fighting it, take a deep breath and say, yes, I am feeling this pain. And say, yes, this is in recognition of my love and our experience. So we're actually using the emotions to honor what we have had. And my husband is a wonderful man in this, because he allows himself to feel. And yes, sometimes we both are there, and we are seeing each other cry, and we're there. So to be in an environment where we are allowed to feel the emotion, experience that emotion, and to honor it, and thereby honor the gift that we have lost, I think is a good thing. So that is something I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for learning and reconnecting with that whole experience again this week. And one of the things that we did as part of our learning and gratitude journey, with having lost Chrissy this week, is we sat down and looked through, and we still do it now, looked through all of the hundreds and hundreds of pictures that we have, because both my husband and I like taking photos, so we just take photos all the time. But it was wonderful to have them and to look back through her life with us, and to give thanks. Give thanks her being there with us, with the children, on holiday, with the home when we were changing and growing. And I'm grateful for those pictures. I'm grateful for reconnecting. And I found that, when I've asked myself, what can I learn out of this? Life itself, or the universe, or whatever you want to use to describe the experience that we have here, is that we we find ourselves focusing on other areas of our lives that we need to pay attention to. And I won't go into all of the details, but what I will say is that from asking that question and being prepared for an answer, I realized that there were other areas that I could, in this tender emotional state that I was in, that I could look at those situations differently, with a different mindset, and actually allow myself to change in those situations. Some of them were difficult situations, and some of them were situations that I really didn't want to go there, and some were situations where I probably needed to work on my forgiveness a little bit more, but I wasn't ready to do that. But in this tender emotional state, I was in a much more open, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically even, in a more tender, open state. So I could look at that from a different mindset, and whatever mindset we're living in is where we are acting from, and therefore we experience from. So because I was prepared to learn and grow in even that challenging situation, and allowed myself to ask that question and be prepared for the answer, I was able to learn and grow and change in different areas of my life, which has meant that I am, even still going through this experience of loss, I'm actually happier inside, and I am more peaceful in terms of my relationships overall. So it has been a challenging week, but it has also been one where I have found myself growing, surprisingly, in areas that I hadn't expected to. So if we are really willing to experience the process of emotional pain, and as Chris says, love does hurt. Chris says love hurts when you lose that love, but remembering that love and feeling it again helps you to focus on that love. And it really, I think it helps you to get through that period of change and growth. And instead of fighting it, if you find a way to honor it in allowing yourself to feel, you actually get through that process quicker, but better, and in a stronger way, and in a way that helps you more quickly to work on loving, giving thanks for whoever it is, over continually being focused on the loss and the pain. Because if we don't find a way to honor that whole experience and the person, then we get stuck in that position of pain and loss, and it's hard to move forward. And I know from the joy and love that Chrissy gave to us, it wouldn't be her desire that we got stuck in the pain of loss and we weren't able to move on and maybe love our next dog, Merlot. And if it's, the same for the family, my mom and my father-in-law that we lost, they didn't put all the effort into us, hoping that we would get stuck at the point of losing them, but that we would have the strength and the emotional strength, the personal strength, and the preparation to grow in order to move forward and to honor their lives by being who and all that they saw in us to be. So it's been a challenging week, but it's also been an amazing week of growth and change for me, and recognition that I have so much more to be thankful for. Sometimes we forget, and in looking through at the pictures that we have, it took us back to holidays, it took us back to when we were doing things around the house, when we were, just playing around as a family. We used to go on, we go on trips and, walks and all sorts of things. And she was there. And for me, it helped me to reconnect with the awesome family that I have. Not that I hadn't been connected with them, but just honoring all of that again and being reminded more consciously of all that I have. So, it's been an interesting week, one that I am really grateful for, even the challenge of it. And for those of you who have shared with me, hi Jenna, those who have shared with me and been there for me and texted me and messaged me on Facebook or Messenger, and those of you who shared your stories of having lost your pets, thank you. I really appreciated those stories, and it helped me to realize again that I'm not alone. And loving is a part of life, as well as loss is a part of life. And as we may not like to sort of recognize this, but so is death a part of life. And in everything, we can learn and we can grow. So a huge thanks and appreciation for those of you who have been there with me and have helped me through this journey. Yes, we're still working through this journey, and whenever you come home, you don't see those bright eyes and that waggy tail, but you know that you have had a wonderful experience. So I've written a poem which I will share on my sandrapollock.com website. That's my blog site. I haven't put it there yet, but I will I will share that. So and I'll share a link on my profile when I do, so you can go and have a read of that. And most of you know that I write poems about everything, so you shouldn't be surprised that I've written a poem about this experience. But I want to thank you again, and I am grateful even for this, because of where it has taken me this week and how I have grown and I have learnt and I have loved. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend. Whatever you do, I'm sending you love, light, and every good wish for you. So there you go. And I look forward to catching up with you again early in the new week. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. This is Sandra Pollock from Open Mind Coaching, saying love, light, and blessing. Thanks again. Bye-bye.